Alright people, what's going on? So, got something interesting to talk about. I thought we'd do a little short daily walk and talk real quick. And we talk about today's projection screens. So, I find it interesting that, well, first let me announce who I am. My name is Kenneth Bird, and we haven't done daily walk and talk in a bit. But we got to talk about this. So sorry if the video is a little choppy and things are a little more sputtered out, but it's just, hold on for a minute, gotta switch for a minute. It's just crazy because it was meant for me to lose those surfaces, because I have found out more information about these screens today than I could ever imagine. Now, if I'm dealing with the company itself, I get some information. But if I'm dealing with a dealership, on the other hand, I get more information. So apparently, the Black Diamond screen is not doing too well in sales. Why? Because it's a big screen, number one. They only make them in certain sizes, and it requires 8,000 lumens to kick. And it's not marketed as a residential screen. It's a screen for companies and corporations. So apparently, the gain that I thought I was using on the screen is a little backwards. Diamond gain is a little backwards. So the lower the gain, the darker the screen. And the higher the gain, the lighter the screen. They're reverse. Because I was trying to get information on the 1.4 Black Diamond, which I thought at the time was a darker screen, but it's not. There's a screen literally darker than that. It's actually under the 1.4. So I'm gonna go through this dealership and get these samples, and I might be able to get my hands on that screen I've been trying to get my hands on. And technically, let me tell you something. I found out that's not the darkest screen. Apparently, that screen's a little bit lighter than an older screen that had a little farther back, which is actually darker than the 1.4. So, I'm gonna get all three of them and get them in, see what we got here. But here's the interesting part. Now, when you're dealing with a dealership, first I'm gonna ask you the type of projector you have. And 3,000, 4,000 ain't gonna cut it. Not on that one you won't. Not on the ones we read about, or when he told us about. Apparently I need a projector of somewhere roughly around maybe 10,000 lumens. Roughly in that area. And because the screens are darker, they're required to be not in fully lit environments, which I find interesting because a darker screen should be able to operate in a fully lit environment because it absorbs better light. These don't. They can't absorb lots of light. But explain the demonstration, it's a lot. But the lighter screens that they make, the ones with the higher gains, you see those in fully lit environments. Those are the ones you see in those environments right there. Oh yeah, she definitely got a killer. I can tell that's a killer right there. I can see the look on him.
He's a hustle pup, actually.
I see, but he protect you. What's supposed to do? Supposed to protect you. Yeah, you see me cross over? I can tell I used to raise pit bulls. I know which one to jack you up. That sucker will jack you up. That's why I was moving over. She was like, oh, he's a she. She's a she. She's a you gotta say that. She's nice, but you can tell when they stick up that chest and that tail goes straight. Yeah, move across the street. That dog will jack you up. But anyway, yeah, you figure out something new every time. And I'm thinking, because with us, black screens absorb more light. They produce better contrast, better colors. But for them, it's the opposite out. So that's what the guy explained it to me. So we'll have those samples soon. So I can have them in, because as I told you before, there was a reason for us losing the samples because God has something better for us. And this time around, we're not going to get one or two. We're going to get the ones we need. The ones that the Lord feels that we need to have to test our technology on the projection screens we're developing for future technology. And if this is where these screens are going, the consumer at the end of the day, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Because let me explain something to you. This ain't your basic home theater projector setups. I mean, you want the big boy high-end screens, you got to pay. Not only will you pay for a screen, but you're going to pay for a very expensive projector to do it. Or you're going to be stuck with the under the bottom level screens that they have, which are screens that will pick up on lower projectors like 3,000, which should pick up much higher, or 35, it should pick up much higher, but you're going to be stuck on the bottom dollar screens. You don't believe me? Do your research. Contact one of the dealerships and ask them, say, hey, look, I got this screen I want to get. What kind of projector am I going to need to be to get this thing to push? They're going to push you into a 6,000 lumen projector or 8,000, and that is not a cheap machine. So basically, when I was on the forum site and I was talking about our black technology, that's how I found out about Diamond's black screen. But apparently it's not the darkest one. It would be an older model that would be the darkest one. And that particular screen, which you have, is supposed to be the black one. That one basically is not used for residential, not designed for fully lit environments. That's why I was hunting for demonstrations on that screen in a fully lit environment. I couldn't find any. All the ones were in dark environments. That is just really, really backwards. It's so backwards, it's not even funny. Because if you're gain, mind you, the darker screens have the lower gains. So that's what explains why such a high power projector would be required to bring up what the screen can't do. Man, that is freaking crazy. So, I mean, makes my job a lot easier, a whole lot easier. Because I told you before, we're hitting Main Street after this. Once the foundation's already set up and we're ready to go, our next stage is basically trade shows and get our technology out on site. So with that being said, we're going to be bumping into these screens. This is going to be a cakewalk. Why would they do it that way? It doesn't future-proof your technology. It pushes it backwards. You run into a screen, good gracious, ad tech. That's it, it's lights out. A screen that absorbs 100,000 lux of light, you can't compete with that. Especially if your screen requires high-end projectors to do so. If you're basing your technology off of that, what happens if they do have the ability to absorb sunlight? What kind of projector would be required to do that at a darker level? Which means they would have to make it at a lighter level in order to get it to work, which would actually be a fail because the contrast levels are not even there. I love our odds. I actually love them. So I'm going to go down and pick up a few things real quick. That's I'm out here out and about, getting some business taken care of, and get a little walk time in while I'm doing it. I figured we take the long way around because I need a little exercise. I haven't been out on a walk in a while. But yeah, that is really, really interesting. I never knew that. I thought the 1.4s at the end of the day were actually much higher, and because it's a darker screen, I thought they could absorb more. I mean, they did a fantastic job in the garage. It was able to pick up on a Pico projector, and they were able to overpower a screen with no problem. Why is this moved all the way out in the center? It's like literally, it's like the Hulk pushed this over. So that is going to make ad tech Cakewalk. Well, pretty soon that'll be TV tech. I haven't got a name for that thing yet. Got to think of a theme for TV technology for ad tech. We got to come up with one. Haven't thought about one yet. So that's basically about it. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about and just basically discuss real quick. That makes my job super, super easy. On top of that, for the price these things cost, and for the projectors that are required, somebody got 7 years of bad luck, which I don't believe in. But for the requirement and everything, it's way too much money. And then with the knockoff projectors, you got these really poor looking gray screens that don't even work and projectors that don't even work. And you're stuck in dark environments. That would explain everything. Well, gee, that does now explain. When the Darkstar 9 had the ability to produce on a much darker level screen at ultra short throw. Huh. All right, people, I'm done. I said what I had to say. This is going to be an easy cakewalk for our company. Easy takedown with no problem whatsoever. Man, we don't really, like I said, at the end of the day, we don't have any competition. We don't have anything. From what I've actually seen on the TVs and the projectors, the new screens, projector requirements, this is going to cost the consumer so much money. It is not even funny. Even the people who have money is going to cost some money. Our technology now is going to be the only thing that's pretty much going to even the playing field at that, to give people more superior technology without basically spending the money for overpriced projectors. And of course, you naysayers out there are mad about that. But it is what it is. We took the time out, we took the work, we put it in. We're gonna get so rich off this, it's not even funny. We don't have anything out there for us. And if you feel at the end of the day that you can take us, I got something for you, ready to go. We'll launch it right at you. And I guarantee you cancel out. We'll shut you down. Other than that, we own this now. And the beautiful thing about it is, we're not greedy for money. We want to make sure the screens are affordable for everybody. So no high-powered, expensive projectors, no dark environments, overpriced, expensive screens, and none of that nonsense. There's a reason for me to lose those samples. If I didn't lose those samples, I wouldn't have obtained the information that I have now in my head. I would have never found out what I know right now. I had no idea these high-power screens were needing that kind of power to operate. Had no idea. That's why I can see why when I was talking to some people, they were saying, look, they want the money for the screen, then they want you to buy this high-end, high-power projector. And I'm thinking like, well, I don't know what they mean by that. Then I realized that in order to get the screen to kick, it requires a projector of that caliber. That's a very expensive machine. And you're talking about a 4K laser at 6,000, 8,000 lumens? Wow. And for those of you who claim at the end of the day that you're going to save people hundreds of dollars, you can't save it yourself. Because your projectors don't even kick, or your screens don't kick. That gray and white paste don't work. That's the reason why they're getting away with having these projectors out like that. Because if you guys had did your job correctly and developed better products and went against the certifieds, they wouldn't be in this situation. Be an even playing field. But you guys decided to rip people off too. Now, I'm not saying the certifieds are ripping people off. No, because their technology does it. It works. I've tested it. I know it works. But the fact that the requirement of what is needed to get it to run is insane. And I still can't understand, I still can't get the fact that a diamond? I thought the darker ones would be the better ones, but no, the darker ones are not the better ones. It's the lighter ones that produce better. But a lighter screen can't read an Infinity One contrast level. Which we got idiots right now on YouTube, you know who you are, shooting up at a ceiling talking about you're picking up a black level. Your screen's not black. Your screen is actually a bit of a box black. It's kind of a brownish color to it. So that means at the end of the day, you can't pick up the Infinity One contrast level. You don't have the capability. If you could do that, you could read that outside with no problem whatsoever, which you can't do. And you wouldn't require an ultra short throw projector. You could drop it back at 1,000 lumens and still read. So no, you failed on that one. I know what you were trying to do in a demonstration, trying to prove that a gray screen would see a contrast level. My goodness, let me explain something to people at the end of the day who do these demonstrations. You have no grasp on the laws of physics, or do you understand physics itself to make such a stupid statement as that? Nowhere or no human on the face of this planet is ever going to agree that a gray screen will ever read the same levels as a black screen. That is virtually impossible. So to come up with a theory to think that's actually going to work makes you look like a complete idiot. Never going to happen. That's like saying a white screen can read an Infinity One. We all know that's impossible. But you got people like them today, so that's what they do. All right, people, I'm done. I got to go take care of some business. And then after that, I got to go here and get this done and get that done. Just take a little pass through real quick. Work up a little energy because I want to get my 10,000 steps in a day. And I got some business to take care of. I got to go back. But man, that's crazy. But anyway, it's good for us. Knowing that I can just go over anyone's house that has an OLED and turn their TV off. Y'all can't bring it back on for like a 6 or 7 hours. That's messed up. And I did go in and check. I fact checked it. I went in and I took the same thing that person said. I went to multiple forum sites. I even called Best Buy. And yes, it's true. You turn off that TV. You got to wait some time before you turn it on because you could damage the screen. You can't leave them on overnight. You'll damage the screen. I never heard anything like that in my life. Give us $5,000 for the screen. Give me $80,000 for the screen. Oh, by the way, you cannot turn it off. You'll have to wait 5 hours. So yeah, if your wife wanted to get even with you and you're watching the game, then turn the TV off on you. If your neighbor wanted to bug you, you get a universal remote control, walk past you, turn your TV off. You gotta wait, you can't turn that thing back on. If you want to ruin your TV, all you gotta do is turn it on, turn it back on. You'll wreck your screen. That's not worth the money. And the fact that what makes it sad is that the influencers on YouTube, and some of them did go out and explain what these TVs did. But some of them take that money at the end of the day and they're the puppets. YouTube puppets, pretty much. Just like when we came out, we saw those fake knockoff projectors and we started talking about how these projectors were trash. Now people started coming up talking about how the projectors are trash. The garbage, don't buy them at the end of the day. Puppets. Unbelievable. Well, people, I'm happy. That's the best news I ever heard in my entire life. I'm gonna go get the rest of these samples, get everything locked in, ready to go. We got a new gunmetal technology coming out, so I can't wait to show that off pretty soon. This is gonna be great. Man. All right, safe out there. God bless. Jeez.